You know how I first heard of Kou? That MSPT event at Canterbury Park? I was playing a home game that night, and they had it on the TV. They hooked the computer up to the TV at the home game I was playing in.
So you were watching
in Minnesota.
this.
So we were watching the broadcast, yeah. And I know Everett Carlton reasonably well, and I've played with him. I think he's a very good player.
Yep.
That's
I got down to 3 or 4 handed, and Everett and Kou had about the same stacks.
Yep.
And I didn't know who Kou was, so I put money on Everett.
Yeah.
And I lost.
Yeah.
Everett left off all his chips.
Kou ended up winning in that heads-up battle.
Yep. That was when Kou got his bracelet.
Yep.
And then I met Kou about a week later. He emailed me, and become friends with him ever since. He just lives a mile from me. I bet against him, though. I didn't know.
Yeah, he raised to 80.
Raised to 80.
He raised to 80.
Unless it's illegal.
No.
I didn't do it.
Call.
Danny
Person to your left gets on.
calls. Fold. Danny calls. Kou calls. Who?
Need him again?
Yeah.
$250.
That's 250,000.
Interesting flop. Vang with top pair and 1 club in his hand. Pastuca with top pair. And Barnes with a flush draw, the nut flush draw. Might see some action here. Barnes has bet 250,000. I can't imagine Vang is going to fold to that. I don't know if he'll raise or not. My guess is that he'll just call. A raise here opens you up to a shove in a spot where you might have to fold. Against a draw or something else. Pastuca wisely gets away from top pair there when there's a button to call. So that's the right play. You know, you hate to raise there and then get shoved down and knocked off the best hand. There's an awful lot of draws on that board. Stack sizes aren't right for a raise. Barnes is going to keep betting his draw. Kou's got to be scared of King 10 now. You hate to see King 10 rolled over here, knowing that you're drawing the 3 outs to a chop. Kou's wondering what hand this guy might bet twice. It's hard to come up with hands that you're going to beat other than flush draws here. And if he had a king before, since he called a pre-flop raise, it's either king, queen, king, jack, or a queen before. It's either king, queen, queen, jack, queen 10, queen 9. And only queen 10 can you beat, and you're not very far ahead of that. I mean, it's very interesting commentating in real time, and I've been making poker training videos forever.
Yep.
But I can stop the action and comment on what I'm looking at, and take all the time to explain all the thought processes. But here, I'm not only explaining it in real time, but I'm trying to explain it at the speed that Kou thinks, that Kou might think, and that's tough to do because I think he's probably thinks faster than I do.
Makes the right call here so far.
Yep.
We've got ourselves a pot.
We do a big one. And Barnes has made the right place too, I think. He's put a lot
Yeah.
of pressure on with his draw.
There's on.
Woo. Just went all in.
Class.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of guts to make
Wow.
that play.
It's just
A lot of guts to make
the
that
only
play.
the only odd thing is it's a relatively quick overshove. Well, yeah, it's a complete pot overshove.
Well, his shove was a little less than the size of the pot at the time. But when it's quick like that, that means he didn't care what the last card was. And when there's a flush draw out there, that clues you in that he wasn't afraid of the flush, and he has to be afraid of the flush. There's no hand that can beat the flush.
Yep.
So, that makes you think that possibly he's bluffing. But this is really a tough call. I mean, you're usually beat here. So I don't think I could make this call. In most cases, I couldn't make this call.
It just feels like if he had any big hand, if he's got king 10, even 8-10, you feel like he's going to fire more of a value bet out there, right?
Or he's going to think about what he's betting before he shoves and make the
Correct.
decision to shove. He had clearly made the decision to shove no matter what the last card was.
It's too big of a pot, and he didn't want
Or-
to get rid of.
yeah.
He didn't want to lose the pot.
Yeah.
I give him credit for the move. We'll see if Kou can pick it off here. You can tell he thinks it doesn't feel right.
What do you have, like 1.4?
It's tough because it's your tournament life, and you really feel like you're crushing the table, and do you want to take a big risk? Sometimes I make folds when I feel like the guy's bluffing, and it's still just wrong for me to call because I don't have enough certainty.
Wow, this is fun.
How much chips is in play? Like 7 million?
It really has to be a flush draw or Kou's beat. Could be Queen 10, but I haven't seen Barnes make that kind of mistake. And Kou hasn't either.
Courtesy shot?
Oh, anytime you ask that question, you're folding. Wow.